Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Top Bin Talks presented by FTF Canada. This is episode 26, and I'm one of your co-hosts, Adam Jones, joined as always by the newly healthy returning man for Loudoun United, Mr. Kwame Awuah. Kwame, how you doing?
I am feeling blessed, never stressed, excited. I remember when I first got hurt, and I was telling this to my friend earlier today. I was like, when I first got hurt, obviously when you get hurt, you do research about the injury that you get. Like you're trying not to psych yourself out, but you're trying to figure out like, yo, how this process is gonna go. And everyone was telling me, yo, like, yeah, you might as well call it the season wraps. Technically, it is wraps, but for me, just being able to step back on the field again, first of all, thank God. But secondly, just to step on the field, it's like crossing over a finish line. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I didn't play, even though I can, like people are saying, "Oh, if I were you, I wouldn't play because like, there's only 2 games left." I feel like I didn't complete the journey. You know what I mean? Like the whole point was to try to be back before the season ends, and I finally did that. And like for me not to play, I'll be like, yo, that's crazy to me.
Well, it's
So
also
like
just to get some miles before the end of the season, right? Like
a
you don't
hundred
want to
percent,
you want to get something in this year before
yeah,
heading into next year anyway, right? So no, completely
exactly.
understand.
Especially because the USL is a whole different league. Like I played in obviously CPL, MLS, MLS Next Pro. Wow, I played in all the American leagues. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So it's like it's a whole different type of league. So like I just want watching it from the outside is different. Like being in the game, maybe you know what I mean. Get a little taste of it, and then I know what to expect for next year. So, it's been 6 months and a half now, and yeah, I'm fully healed, fully cleared. Been training for 2 weeks, just getting my fitness back, but can't wait to touch pitch. Spoil people's playoff hopes, just like they spoiled ours.
There you go. Oh, that's always the best too, eh? When you have at least
Mm-hmm.
a chance. At least it's not like a mean nothing. Like you're playing another team who hasn't made the playoffs right now. It's like, no, 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 we can actually spoil someone's day. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's nice feeling, bro. So that that's what's happening, and I just came back. I just came back from a long weekend in New York, so that's part of the reason why I'm tired as well. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Oh, I got a long weekend coming up. It's Thanksgiving. So your first weekend back, your first game back's coming on Canadian Thanksgiving, at least, not the
Yeah,
American one.
American Thanksgiving, we don't really celebrate that. That shit crazy. A whole week, a whole week, bro.
Whole
Like
week.
they used to give us a whole week off in college for Thanksgiving. I'm like, bro, like y'all don't need all of that, but hey, Americans are out here killing the Indians, but we don't have to speak about that. That's what we're celebrating. So,
Well,
but yeah, how you been, bro?
been good, man. Been good. Just obviously getting right back in the swing of things with coaching being all encompassing again and playing myself and getting back into training mode and job and just kind of figuring out that schedule again, which has been a little bit hectic. But no, it's been good, man. It's been good. I'm finally back in the swing of things and in a routine, which is nice.
Mm.
Um, yeah, man. Every single day is like, oh, there's something new to do. There's something new.
How's the weather in the West Coast? Has it started raining yet?
Just
It's been
started.
nice,
It just turned. It just turned. Oh yeah, it's raining. Today's been miserable.
bro. I was in New York. It was pouring in New York. Like half of Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, was flooded.
I
Like
saw that.
rats were coming up the subway. Like even the rats were fed up. Like that's what was crazy. Like Lower Manhattan, Brooklyn, it was absolutely wild. And I was like, wow, I picked the right weekend to go to New York. But hey, still enjoy the time. But that's good though. I mean, rather rain or snow. So
Rain every day of the week, man. Honestly,
exactly.
it's been like golfing weather every single day. Like even Saturday was super, super nice. You could
Mm-hmm.
start to tell like it started cooling down. It started to cool down a lot at night now.
Mm-hmm.
And then even still, like if there's a little bit of a wind, you're like, okay, there's definitely a chill. Like it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
fall weather. It's not summer anymore, but it's been super sunny. And then like this week, it looks like it's turning to rain. Obviously, just in time for the long weekend. It's always the way
Yeah.
it is.
Keep you inside a little bit. All right, man. So first up on the docket, we got the whole spiel about the FIFA ratings, Canadian men's and women's, Canadian players in general. Um, Alfonso Davies being the highest rated, right?
Yeah, at 83 with
And on the
a
women and
potential
on
of
the
88.
and then on the women's side, it was
Ashley Lawrence.
Ashley Lawrence at an
Yeah.
87 at right back. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy for Ashley, especially like even this past week where she played with the national team, 2 assists. Like she's been cooking, especially against Jamaica, and like in general, she's been doing really well. So I'm happy about that. Alfonso Davies at 83 is fair, with a high potential. It's still fair as well. Um, they got him listed as a left midfielder. No,
Yeah, that's what I find kind of weird is like he's not listed as a left back, which I
I
think
think.
probably impacts that rating slightly, considering when you look at what other like I mean, the highest left midfielder is Bukayo Saka at like
Mhm,
88. So he's not that far behind Bukayo
mhm,
Saka,
mhm.
but he's also got the
But
same rating as like Luke Shaw, who's an 83 left back, and Jordi Alba.
yeah, and Jordi Alba's on his last legs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that has to be a legacy rating, by the way.
Yeah, a hundred
Has to
percent.
be.
It has to be. You
Like,
can't. You
there's
can't.
no way. There's no
Yeah,
way.
bro. You don't remember. You don't remember those times where like you knew a guy like Puyol was on his way out, or like Maldini, and then those. But they'll give them like a cheeky 79 because it's good. It's up there, but it's not. You know what I mean? They're kind of
Yeah.
yo. Because like imagine like 1 year they're what the highest they've ever been was like a 90, and then like 5 years later they boom like into the 70s. Not gonna be. It's a legacy rating. It's a legacy thing. And to be fair, Jordi Alba's still doing well in MLS, so it's not
Yeah.
like
Messi's reincarnating his FIFA rating as well.
facts, facts. Um, on top of that, we had the so obviously the FIFA ratings come out, and then Manchester United and Bayern play each other in a weird, really entertaining match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was boring, and then it just like 5 goals happened. It's like, yo, what the hell? Just you know what I mean?
It was also the most boring way you could probably script a 4-3 game.
That's what I
Like,
mean. It was unbelievable. Like Bayern was like dominating the game. Then Man U kind of like, you know what, like taking waves of attack. So they were kind of chilling. It's like they couldn't keep the ball sometimes. And then when you think Bayern was about to run away with it, Casemiro, two glancing headers, and then was it an own goal, the last one? Man
I
U's third
think
goal.
I think it was. Well, I know Hoyland scuffed one in, Casemiro scuffed one in, and then yeah, I think the third one was an own goal. But
Own goal.
the worst part was that United were actually the better team, and then Onana has a stinker,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then comes up huge the rest of the game. Like he was
That's what I
brilliant
mean.
aside from
Bro,
that, but
yeah. That's what I was gonna tell you. I was gonna ask too. I was like, yo, don't you think um having a goalkeeper like that, like Victor Valdez had his, like Onana's having is like people like good goalkeepers like that, especially play out the back, they're due for like, you know what I mean? Like that's what you risk when
yeah,
you
I
get good
wouldn't.
goalkeepers like that.
I I still think like a goal like that though probably is one that you expect any goalkeeper to save. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's one thing if again like if he gets caught out because he's playing too high and you give the ball away high up the pitch or not that super high up the pitch, I completely get that because that's part of who he is in his DNA. And if he that kind of thing, I understand. But when it's a shot stopping error, like it didn't
Mm-hmm.
deflect. You look at the
Yeah.
goal, like everyone talks about the nail in the coffin for De Gea was the second goal in the FA Cup final last year. And you're like, this was way worse. This might be worse than any goal De Gea has let in for United. And there's been some howlers,
No, that
right?
is,
Like,
but you see the reaction though when he knows he fucks up, like he knows, like his hands in his hand, like you know what I mean.
oh,
It's
I
kind
think
of like
every goalkeeper I think knows. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. I don't hold it against him, man. Like he came up
yeah,
huge the rest of the game. He made some massive saves,
yeah,
and everything. But obviously on this side of the world, everyone just stuck to the comments made before the game by Ten Hag
yeah.
about, about Alfonso. And I mean
Um,
he wasn't wrong. Like and I think it like he was proven right within 3 minutes when Fonzie was on the wrong side. He was
mhm,
on the wrong side of Police Street. Yes, he makes a good last ditch tackle, but that should never be this. He shouldn't have to do that in the first place. Like
mhm,
defensive hit, he is not the best defender. If you look at his one-on-one defending, he's not. His athleticism gets him out of a lot of mistakes that he makes, which fair enough. He's that athletic and can do that. But every player has a weakness.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I think it's because he's one of our own, and like Canada never had such a big representation on the across the pond, especially on a team like Bayern, who's used to winning, that everybody knows like they win all the time. So like we're kind of so overprotective of Alfonso.
Oh, it's like a
Yeah,
Napoleon
like it's
complex. It is like we are so sensitive.
we're insanely overprotective when it comes to Alfonso because you don't see people complaining when we used to say Marcelo couldn't defend.
No, like
Like
he was a
we were
he.
like, yo, everyone knows Marcelo's not a good 1v1 defender, but we don't care.
Think about what that side of the pitch. It was Marcelo Ronaldo versus Jordi. Sorry, no, Danny Alves and Messi. It was the
Yeah,
worst defending you've ever
it was the
seen on
worst
the side of
defending
the pitch.
display ever. But like when they were both attacking, it's like, damn, bro, like who gonna be the best attack? Like it wasn't really so like we know Alfonso's not getting paid because of his defending. We all
No,
know that. He's not getting paid for that. So like why do we keep holding him to a
why are you so
standard of
fucking
like,
sensitive? Just fucking
yeah,
grow up. And the comments were made about Ten Hag made it about the player he's playing against in
yes.
Pellistri, who's more similar to Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden and Riyad Mahrez, who fucking destroyed Fonzie over 2 legs last year. When City, and again, it's not like it's his fault. They played against the fucking best team in the world last year in Man City.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have to worry about Holland and you have to worry about all these guys and how do you, oh my God, but it's a different type of fucking game playing against those guys than it is playing against someone like Ousmane Dembele. It's
Yeah.
completely different. Like you saw it when they played PSG. He wasn't great against Neymar and Messi. He did enough, but it's not like he locked them down,
Mhm.
like that.
But those guys,
It's a
those are guys you
different
don't really.
challenge. It's a different challenge.
Honestly, Messi and Neymar, I'm not really like, yo, no one's really locking them down. So
No,
you know what
but
I mean?
like
It's like that
look
one
at
I can let those guys
Kyle
slide.
Walker against Mbappe in the World Cup.
Yeah. Kyle
Mbappe's
Walker
worst
against
game by a
Vinicius.
mile.
Vinicius was torching people.
Same thing. But it's like that's a north-south player compared to someone
Mhm.
who's going to come inside and say, no, come get really. You don't want me with the ball at my feet. So it means you got to get tighter. That's going to open up more space. Like it's a way different game because it's way more mental and you have to defend space rather than player way
Mhm.
more. And it's a fucking impossible balance against that Man City team, man. Like it
Mhm.
honestly is. But to
Yeah.
sit there and be this sensitive about these comments when they conceded 3 fucking goals in the game. And it should have been a fourth because he was on the wrong side of someone. And
Mhm.
his clearance sucked and went right to a United player. His goalkeeper bailed him out. Like you got like the comments
Yeah,
were
we're definitely just overprotective. I think that's what it is because like we struck gold with him, and like any bad thing that people say about him is kind of like, yo, we have to come to defense. Which I understand as well because like you gotta hype up your own players, but like it's also about like being real. Excuse me. It's also about being realistic, yo.
yeah. Yeah. Like
There's so many wingbacks that we say are not good defenders, and no one gets mad about it. But for him, it's like, god damn. And he's a great like it's not a personal attack, it's nothing like that. Like he wasn't brought there to be a defender per se. You know what I mean? Like he was
no.
there to add an extra wave of attack. Like him and Leroy Sané on the same side, the hamstrings of Dallo and the man's, they had to split time. Yo, it's true.
It's so
That
true.
yeah, like imagine Dallo couldn't even go up. He was like, I can't even go up, risk overlapping or anything like that because like I'm not finna track these guys back. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yo, you got to pick your poison.
Well, yeah, and it's like if you look at like if you really go back, like if you look at like the best fullbacks in the world who are complete fullbacks, you're looking at like Philip Lahm.
He was
You're
clamps, but
looking at like
He wasn't
Paolo
offensively like
Maldini.
yeah
Like, but they weren't like offensively. Don't get me
juggernauts.
wrong, it was a bit.
They
It was
could
a
do
bit
a
of a
job.
different time. It was different
Yeah,
time. But like when you look at like Roberto Carlos, it was all about his attacking and how he could whip a
yeah,
ball in and do it. Like there wasn't the other side of it, right? Like
no,
that's the part that again, like when fucking like every single comment, like, oh, we're a soccer nation. I said, no, we're fucking not, because we react to shit like this. Like
mm-hmm.
this is so reactionary for the wrong reason of being like,
Mm-hmm.
you're right, he's not like, defending is not one of his
Yeah,
strong
it's not
suits.
his strengths. Yeah,
But look at what he can do defensively because of his
mm-hmm.
athleticism. Like that's the part that blows my mind. Like
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Walker's never been that good of a defender until he's in his 30s. Like he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. But
John Stones
he was
was
just
not a
faster.
very good defender, very good on the ball. Like look what coaching's turned him into. And
Mhm.
Fonzie's been his defensive ability has been getting better. It has.
Yeah.
You can't dispute it's not been getting
Mhm.
better. It's still not his strength because of how good he is going forward.
Mhm.
So it's like, hey, can we just take a fucking second here, listen to it, and go, true?
I can see that. And Eric Ten Hag's obviously going to hype up his own player.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know why people are were feeling some type of way, but yeah, in general, I
I'm
mean
sure
the
I'm sure the
rating.
rating didn't help. Like it came out right
Yeah,
before this. And
yeah,
it was like two things and seemed
yeah.
like it was too
But
much for people.
the ratings are the ratings. You know what I mean? The ratings are the ratings. Um, him. There's a couple ratings that I don't personally agree with. Like Star Arfield being a 69 is crazy to me. Um, like there's so many other players that we know personally that like he's probably our best midfielder other after Estacio.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I mean.
Like
So
Kone, you could
Kone,
argue
that's what.
it's
But
no
like
Kone.
Kone's a 67. I'm like, yo, chill. Like,
Yeah, I wonder if so. I just wonder if for part of that, like, I think the thing that might go against Kone there is because he's in the championship, and you look at the number of players that are just there
the
around
average
him.
out.
I think that's more so what it is. Like, if you
Yeah.
look in the championship, like, yeah, he's doing well, he's making strides.
Mhm.
So is everybody else that's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure his potential's higher than other players,
Oh,
but
100%.
when you
Yeah.
look at like his overall to start with, like you're being compared against some of it's the best second league in the world, and
Yeah.
the league right ahead of you is the best league in the world.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I think that's where he kind of gets stuck with. That's why
Mhm.
he's a 67. Where Scott Arfield's played in the Prem, he's proven it. He's played in the
Yeah.
Champions League.
And
He's done
he
all
should
this
not
stuff
be a
for
69.
Rangers. Yeah,
That is crazy, bro. He scored in Champions League with Rangers, bro. Comes to MLS for 1 year, half a year, and all of a sudden he's a 69. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
wild
I
to
know,
me.
I know.
that
Honestly,
that
the one that I find kind of crazy is Tajon.
being a 71 or 72.
72, but being lower than like Osorio. Like he
Yeah,
was good last year in the Champions
yeah.
League, man. He was very good. Like
He
there's
was
a
good in
reason
the
why he's
Liverpool.
being linked to Inter and to these other big clubs
Yeah.
as a wing back, man. Like
I think that's
that
another thing.
one,
Like the team you play for matters as well
oh, without a
on the
doubt.
FIFA
Without
ratings.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Which is probably why some of the guys, like even Scott Arfield, the reason that he's I mean, like if he had stayed in
Yeah.
Europe somewhere, I bet he's higher, but
Higher.
because he's come to Charlotte and Charlotte are
And
second
Charlotte's
last,
terrible. Yeah.
that probably plays a part in it, right?
100%. Damn. Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple that obviously I kind of like. Well, who cares? Honestly, I don't even really play. It's not even called FIFA no more. It's
Yeah.
EAFC. So I don't even play that shit no more. So it's calm to me.
I haven't played that game and I don't even know how long.
I haven't played since FIFA 20. But shout out to the CPL. They got me that because I had to do an appearance kind of media thing with this Canadian Premier League, and I had to do a Twitch. I had to stream myself playing FIFA, which was kind of dope during COVID. Yeah, just to
That's
keep
kind of
like
sick.
it was sick, bro. I won't even lie. That's why I say shout out to them, yo. Bro,
That's kind of
I
dope.
had to do Twitch, and so what they had was they would partner me with a guy who was an actual like FIFA player, like an EA Sports player that was from
Okay.
Toronto. So like everybody has one in their own city. Every team has their own one,
Oh
and
yeah.
then each player who was good at the game, you would play. And we lost in the finals. But my guy, I don't know if you know him. His name is Goal Machine.
I don't. I honestly do. I
Yeah.
haven't played FIFA. Like I would have played whatever FIFA was still on Xbox 360. I didn't buy a new one. Like I haven't played.
I had FIFA '09 for Xbox 360, bro. What a Rooney was on it.
We're probably talking like FIFA 12 or 13 probably is the last one I've genuinely played.
I think, yeah. So yeah, those are the ratings. Um, Canadians, please, please, please stop being sensitive. Like just as much as we're able to praise Alfonso and he deserves praise, we should be able to criticize the game without having it to be a personal attack on the man, bro. It's not a
And
personal attack.
like I don't even and the weirdest thing to me is like the
Mhm.
praise that he's gotten, I don't think's been excessive whatsoever. Like if it
No.
was like wildly in that way and then the other way, you'd be
Mhm.
like, okay, like I don't that's the one thing I find kind of strange. Like the praise that he's gotten, not just globally, but also from here, it's been pretty fucking on point.
Yeah. So
Like
it's like,
no one's
yeah,
gotten
let's go.
carried away with what he's done. You felt like it could have got that way at the start, and then you saw him
Mm-hmm.
do everything. You're like, oh my God, he's fucking so legit. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
keep this train going. And obviously scoring Canada's first goal at the World Cup is amazing. And like
Yeah.
he like for as much pressure, I guess, that he's kind of been put under, he's lived up to the hype so far without a shadow of a doubt.
100%. He just got, and he had obviously the national team, men's national team was just a bunch of dogs too. So when you got dogs with you, they're like, they know
Mhm.
you're under pressure, but they can take some of the weight off your shoulders and you enjoy playing with them. Like you feel the pressure, but like it's not really pressure to you. You're like, yo, I'm like, it's a great moment. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. Whereas like
Oh
if you're
yeah.
playing on a team where like everything really revolves around you, then it's like, damn, like there's times where Jonathan David saved Canada's ass, or Kyle will save Canada's ass, or Tajon, you know what I mean? He doesn't.
It was
Alphonso's not always the guy that has to, you know what I mean? Like take the last shot. If we would say if it was basketball,
No, it
yeah,
genuinely has been by committee so far. And you even saw
yeah,
that World Cup when they started clawing back against Morocco. Like Atiba hits the crossbar. Like it was genuinely a collective and a group effort,
a
right?
hundred,
And
a hundred
and you
percent.
know, I think that would be the mindset that I would keep going forward with especially this group, right? Like that's kind of the mindset the US have always had.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's talk
Brandon
about it.
Donovan kind of was their talisman, but you had Clint Dempsey and Altidore, and you had
mm-hmm,
guys, and you're like, you know what, you Kobe Joneses, and these guys are gonna sit behind you and just drag and
yeah,
move Michael Bradley. We're gonna move the chains, and you guys go do what you. It was by collective, and then you saw with the latest U.S. team, man, at the World Cup, their performance against England. I've
yeah,
never seen Berhalter put out a team to play that way in his whole
yeah.
time. Nope, but they did it, and they did it by committee, and you're like, oh my God, if they can get that buy-in, yikes.
That's what I mean. I mean, the U.S. obviously we already had that conversation. They just have just so much more resources and more players and people in general. So you have a lot more people to choose from. So it brings the competition a lot higher. Um, so now we talk about the women's side. Obviously, Ashley Lawrence being the highest, 87. The women have just qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympics, beating Jamaica. The first game was what, 2-0?
2-0, and then they won 2-1. Little scare.
2-1. It
Little
was, hey
scare with
man,
Demo.
that free kick that Jamaican girl scored, woman scored, boy, that was a wicked free
Perfect.
kick, bro.
It's
I said,
perfect.
damn, like men or women, like I haven't seen other than Messi's game winning, game tying or game tying against Dallas. That was probably the best free kick I've seen so far, bro. I don't even lie. She whipped that bad boy, top bins. I said,
Oh
ooh.
yeah. Yep.
So
Just over the wall too. Just over the
yeah,
wall, right in the top. Sheridan had no chance.
yeah, it was
Um,
class, bro. I give them credit there. I mean, obviously we're Canadian, but Jamaica's on the uprise. I think the World Cup, getting out of the group stage, really, really showed them that like, yo, they can play with the best of them, and now it's time to just put resources into a country that has like what 2 million people, bro. So it's like, come on, you know what I mean?
it's also great for them to have way stiffer and tougher competition within CONCACAF other than the US.
Yep,
That's also a huge plus because now all of a sudden now games are going to start to mean way more.
yep.
And it's not just a walk in the park. Like I remember watching, I think it was when they were qualifying for Rio and they played Mexico at BC Place and it was like 8-0. And it was like, what is the point of this game even?
Bro.
And
It's
now you see those two legs and it's tightly contested, it's tightly fought, it's a hard away game, it's a hard home game. Like it makes it better and it can only propel. It can
shout out to the
only
Canadian
propel
people that went
the
out to
tournament
watch at
forward.
BMO Field. I
Yeah.
mean, on a random Tuesday, it's kind of tough. Like I know how people work, and I know I personally know the traffic in that area around game time to get there for a 7 o'clock game. That shit must have been miserable. So shout out to people that made it. Chloe Lacasse, our good friend who was on our last episode 25. Make sure you guys check that out. Bagged again,
Big goal.
big goal, right? Both legs, no?
No, I
She
think
scored.
no, no,
No, no,
no,
no,
no.
no. It
It was,
wasn't.
she scored the header that brought it back to
Header.
1-1 at BMO, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
scored a nice glancing header. Um, like we were just talking, Christine Sinclair doesn't really play these next two legs. Is this kind of like a
I
farewell tour?
think I think that was her last. I think that was
Yeah.
her last one.
You
I
don't
think
think
that
she goes to the Olympics?
no,
No.
no,
Um,
2026, dude.
isn't it 20? It's 2024.
Oh yeah, it is.
Because remember the COVID
That's
year was
another
2020.
year. That's another year, man. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't think so. Personally, I think that's like you can already see now, like they she can't start now. She can't. Like the team's getting that little bit more dynamic and
Livy Smith
you
coming off the bench too. Well done, Olivia.
yep,
If
Livy
you
getting
watch
some
this,
significant minutes,
congrats.
man. Like that's
Playing
huge.
it, playing in front of your home, your parents, your family get to come watch. That's dope. Got Chloe's family too. Drove up from Sudbury, so that's really cool. It's like she barely gets to go home, but like she got to
Yeah,
score a big goal in front of your family. That's dope. That's dope.
and they know that
Shout out to
drive
them.
too. That would have been an outrageous drive.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to them. I
Yeah,
mean,
and Ashley was hugely instrumental in both
huge.
goals too. And no, like I think like the nicest thing to see from those two games was obviously that it was apparent that a change needed to happen from the World Cup, and there was.
Mhm.
There's a change in system, there's a change in philosophy, not necessarily a change in philosophy, but a change in buildup and
Mhm.
everything, and you could see it work, which is
Mhm.
obviously fantastic, and in two massive games that are super important.
Mhm.
Like it's one thing to try something new and have it go really poorly in a friendly, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, it's just a friendly. Like these are two human, like they had to
Oh,
qualify.
100%. And obviously, you would like to see. Obviously, I have a lot of Jamaican friends, but it just sucked that Canada had to play Jamaica. The U.S. played South Africa, so like that's even more random. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who picks this stuff, but Canada men's team been said to have a friendly. Is it a friendly against? Is it against Japan?
Yeah, they get one, and they only have one friendly coming up.
One friendly in October. That's in October, sometime coming up. What do you
Yeah,
think about that matchup? What do you think about them playing? Like we would
it's a
never play.
great country to play. Japan are
Yeah,
fucking good, dude. They're
yeah.
fucking good. Like that's a top quality opponent, which again, I
Two
think
years ago,
like
we don't get that.
I know,
Yeah,
we don't get it. Like it's a
right.
great little barometer. Like let's
Mhm.
see where we're at. Like they just beat Germany again.
Mhm.
Like there, it's
They always be cooking Germany. Like the last time, 3 times they played, they won all the games.
yeah, it's one
I
of
don't know why.
those Axis powers. They're old
Uh,
allies.
yo, I love Japan. What? Come on, watching them. I feel like those guys just like when you watch Japan play, especially when you watch them against Germany. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's like these guys are like, yo, they always have something to prove against those guys. Like the
It's
goals that they be scoring will be like masterclass goals every time. It's like, yo, this don't make no sense. How y'all scoring one touch passing? Like they do one touch all the way from their back, cross, boom, goal. I'm like, damn, Germany, every time it's you.
it's a different philosophy, and it's also just it's one of those things that I think this is, and actually I want to get your take on this too.
Mhm.
This is one of those things that it goes, this is why for me why this is the best sport in the world, is that it's not just a different philosophy, you have completely different fucking upbringings and culture. Like Japan, you look at like if you just look at like their historical, from a historical context, they're very disciplined, they're very traditionally oriented, all this stuff. And then when you watch them play a sport, you kind of sit there and like they all kind of do the same thing, which means they all kind of train the same way. It's all about discipline, and you can see culture generally translated into the way certain nations play, which is why
Mhm.
when you look at Brazil, it's samba.
Mhm.
There's a reason why, and again, there's a reason why for as unbelievable they are going forward, why they haven't won more World Cups, is because
Mhm.
it's a liability defensively, but
Yeah.
culturally they don't care. Look at what
Mhm.
it is. Look at how good it is going
They're like,
forward.
yo, if you're gonna lose, you gotta lose playing the Brazilian way. They don't give a fuck.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
you know, the Germans, it's a well-oiled machine, and
Yeah.
like there are cultural aspects within it that
Mhm.
you can genuinely see. Like you look at the Italians, they are
Mhm.
so resolute. I mean, mind you, they have to qualify for a fucking tournament, but once they
Yeah.
get there, you're not
They're good
breaking them
at
down.
Italian,
You're
but
not
Italian
breaking them
teams have
down.
yeah, Italian teams have always been historically good in tournament football though. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of like it's just that if they don't qualify, then that just sucks. Like they suck. But when they actually get to the tournament, I feel like they play down to their competition. They play the level of the
they
competition.
do, but it's also like yeah, they'll do enough to win the game,
Yeah,
but that's against anyone. So they could be
yeah,
playing the best team in the world and they'll do enough to win that game because they're going to
yeah.
be so hard to break down. They're so resolute defensively, and you can see these things like That's why, like, when Noah Lyles says winning an NBA championship, like, how can you call yourself a world champion?
It's
I
facts.
fully agree with him. Like, don't
Yeah.
get me like, and this is like, it's part of like the arrogance. It's
100%.
100% part of the arrogance of
100%.
the US saying, "Oh, this team, yeah, no shit, no shit, that's the case." But how about you take all of those players off of the Denver Nuggets who aren't American and
Hmm.
put them on their national teams? You know what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
is a difference between playing for your national team and playing by a different set of rules than playing
Hmm.
in the NBA and playing with other really good players around the world. Is it the like it'd be
There's a
like,
reason why the U.S. lost in the FIBA World Cup, bro.
don't get me wrong, it wasn't their best team. You
No,
can't
it
say that
wasn't.
when Durant's not there and Steph Curry's not there and LeBron's not there
LeBron
and
James,
all
yeah.
these, like, don't get me wrong, like that USA team should win. They should
Yeah.
win. The Man City aren't world champions because they won the best league in the world.
No.
Man City won the Champions League. They're not world champions. They're
The
UEFA
champions of
Champions
Europe.
League, champions of Europe club football.
Yeah.
Like,
Then you
like
go to
that's the
then you go
part.
to the FIFA Club World Cup, and then that's when you could say you're the best team in the world.
You're the best
I,
club in the world.
club
Like
team in
you're
the
not
world.
you're not a world champion though, because that's a
Yeah.
national team thing. It's like it blows my mind that people in the US can't see that. Like it
Yeah.
actually genuinely blows my fucking mind that they can't see that like there's a difference. And again, with track athletes, they are racing against everybody else in the world, and they're all time like you actually
Yeah.
know who, like, you know what everyone else is doing at, like, when there's legit
Yeah.
events you have to get timed to even qualify. There's a threshold of time you have to hit.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like you are literally competing against the world in track
So
and in like the Olympics and stuff. Like, yes, they, to broaden the spectrum, yes, they do allow some people, because again, if it was just based on who the quickest are, then most of those would be from the wealthiest countries, like the US would get most of the
yeah.
spots, right? So they
Yeah.
do have to expand it a little bit, and you can only have so
Mhm.
many qualify from each country, which is again similar to FIFA and the fact that
Mhm.
Europe only gets so many.
Yeah.
But good God, like there is a massive difference between me playing against everybody where you have to qualify to even get in, and then being like, well, this is just our league.
Yeah. So what so I watched the NBA podcast, Gilbert Arenas, Gil's Arena, and guys are going back and forth about it. And it does stem from the arrogance, American arrogance. And like we kind of know, obviously, if you're when you're a Canadian living in America, you see the arrogance, you see it firsthand. What they're saying is like all the best players from all those other countries come to play in the NBA. So you're playing against the best of the best. And they say, okay, fair. But at the same time, when you say world champion, you're not playing against everyone in the world. You're playing against the best players in the world. Like, yeah, those are the best players in the world, but when it comes to a world event, like a national event, if it is nationals, even if it's club, like when we watch FIFA Club World Cup, usually we know who's going to win the tournament, but that doesn't mean that they don't play. So what
Yeah.
people, yeah. So but what people are the NBA guys are saying, they're like, why would I play? Like, let's say Denver Nuggets won the championship. Like, you think guys want to waste their time playing against the EuroLeague champion or the Asian League champion? It's like, yo, Denver is gonna wipe them up. Yeah, they might, but you can't call yourself the world champion if you actually don't even go through with it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how you stand against the rest of the world just because you're playing some of the best players in the league. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
Well, it's also, I think JJ Redick brought up the point of being like, Steve Kerr made the comment coaching of like, yeah, but this role NBA player, like the difference is all of the Americans are typically the stars on their team, and
yeah,
now they have to accept the role. Whereas
mhm.
for some of the other countries, they're taking guys who are more role players in the NBA, and now they're the star.
Yeah,
Now they get to
it's
be the go-to. Like it's not all just like, it's not just about Nikola Jokic,
yeah,
right? Like he's going to be the star, or Luka Doncic, right? Like they're the star of stars. But then you look at the Serbia team who didn't have Jokic, who almost won. They almost beat
yeah.
Germany. And you look at the role players in the NBA, and they're like, oh my God, these guys are beasts.
You also have to look at the rules. The set of rules in FIBA is a lot different from the NBA rules. Like, it's more, they run more proper offenses. Where like NBA, it's such a transition. Like, they shoot as many shots as you can get up, gives you a higher chance to win. So when people cross over half, it's like quick attacks, like all the time. Whereas like in FIBA, dudes play to the point guard, run a set play. Like, oh, that didn't work. They run it again. Like they run something different. Like there's 3 counter movements to one possession. People crash the. I know it's not a basketball podcast, but like I was listening to JJ Redick, Cam Johnson was on it, and people crash the boards. Like there's different things that people do in the NBA that make the NBA more entertaining. Don't get me wrong, NBA basketball obviously is probably the most entertaining sport to watch in North America because of how transition it is and how good players, skilled the players are and athletic they are. But I feel like the reason why the Americans feel some type of way is because another American said it. If it was a player, someone that from let's say it was a Jamaican man, and he said, "Yo, like I'm the world champion. I don't know why America this and that." It's like they just took it so harsh because
It
Americans
came
feel
from
like
within.
they feel like all Americans should be like rooting for America. Like like they expect all American athletes to have American arrogance. So like when Noah Lyles said that, instead of being like, "Yo, you know what," or even having a conversation, like you have the biggest stars in the world commenting on the man, like KD and then man's commenting on the man's statement saying this guy's a clown, blah blah blah. It's like, yo, if it came from someone else, you wouldn't be saying this. You're just mad because it hits home. You're like, damn, one of our own people said that. So I don't know. I mean, I agree. Like you can't be like we know who's gonna win the Club World Cup champion. Like when Real Madrid goes, we're like, yo, none of these teams are better than Real Madrid, but they still go to say that they're the best team in the world, in the world. That's it.
Argentina lost their first game in the World Cup to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Then they have to claw themselves all the way back out.
Like it's just it's different, man. It is different. And I would hope to see a transition from other sports that now take kind of global sport more seriously now that there is more funding coming in. Like that only kind of improves sport across the
Yeah.
world. And yeah, the US should and will dominate basketball. They should.
It's a given, yeah. But that doesn't
Canada
mean that
should Canada and the US realistically should dominate hockey, and Russia and Sweden. There's those four. It's pretty
yeah,
much
that's
those
it.
four.
And
And
it's always those are always the final four every time.
yeah, and like
Those-
yeah, you have some generations where Finland have been really fucking good
yeah,
lately, and they were really good when Solani, like Team Solani
yeah,
came on the scene and stuff. But they're kind of their like generation come up and then they're gone
yeah.
for a little while. Whereas you have these systemic programs, right? Like,
Mm.
it
No,
is what it is. And I think
it
like it's
is.
the funniest thing is like looking at how they are with that compared to like football, they're the exact same way. World
Mm-hmm.
champions, like you guys are the only country that fucking plays the sport.
Plays NFL,
Sorry,
which is
one of
crazy.
two, one of two, one of two. But
Yeah. Nah, man.
like,
CFL ain't it, bro.
but if you look at for soccer and for football, like they will never say that ever
No.
because there's everyone else started like it's things that they almost didn't start where they won't say it. Baseball, they do say like they're world champions for the World Series, yet they lose to Japan in the final. At least they made the final in that one. Because
Yeah.
again, you have the Dominican, you have these smaller
Yeah.
countries that are fucking good
Very
at
good. That's all they
baseball,
play.
very, very good.
Yeah.
But at least that one, you're like, okay, there's the World Series, like there's World Championships of baseball now.
Yeah.
So now
And
there's
they're
an
and you're not
actual
the world champs.
I know, but like at least they tried out a proper team with Mike Trout and everyone. Like
Yeah.
they fucking brought a good team, right? I hope to see that now in basketball, especially with like the Olympics, because I think the Olympics for a lot of sports, I think the Olympics is just it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it is it. It is the pinnacle of international competition for those sports. Um, so I hope that becomes the thing, or if say the NBA players don't want to do that one, then it is FIBA. Then it's the FIBA World Championships that is the pinnacle for them for
Yeah.
international competition. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, that would be nice because I think like when I look at hockey's been missing that massively lately without being able to send their NHL players to the Olympics. That's been
Mm-hmm.
huge. Obviously now like with the World Cup coming to, I
Mm-hmm.
think like the World Cup coming is going to make it even that much
Yeah.
more apparent of how
Yeah.
important global standards are for it. Which will be great, but the Olympics for by and large is kind of like for other sports at least is the pinnacle.
100%. I mean, yeah, that those comments are it is what it is. I understood like, but you that's what I mean. You just can't be so close-minded to the fact that someone is like just try to understand where the person is coming from. That's all. Talking about champions. Wait, before we go to that, actually, Toronto FC officially eliminated, obviously, out of playoff contention a long time ago. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Once they were eliminated, John Herdman's like announced and coaching
Yeah, he's
staff.
announced like
The
yeah, his coaching
second,
staff and
the
everything.
second
Yeah,
it
come
gets
on.
eliminated.
I
Oh
I
my God.
respect it. He didn't want nothing to do with that dumpster fire that was happening on the field. So now he can actually like move in and this and that.
Well,
So
also like when you're gonna, I mean, they have to have a transition in play. Like there has to be a massive roster overhaul here coming.
yeah,
Like there has to be. So it makes sense that you'd probably see out the year with whoever, like I guess is still
is it
Terry
Terry
Dunfield.
Dunfield?
I think Terry's still in charge. You see it out for the rest of the year with him, but he can now start actually making moves behind the scenes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he gets somewhat of a fresh start, I guess. I don't know that I'd classify it as a fresh start, but it's not going, it's not working the tail end of a previous season.
Yeah, yeah. So that happened. Obviously, Vancouver Whitecaps, Montreal are still in playoff contention. Hopefully, both teams can qualify. I got to give a big shout out to Calvary in the CPL. Um, Tommy Wheeldon has always been consistently top three in the CPL. Calvary's always been a really good team. Enjoyed my battles against them. Enjoyed playing against some of those guys. Spruce Meadows is a very interesting field to play at. Very supportive fans that they have a really good fan base. Never a dull moment. Spruce Meadows. Air's a little thin up there, but it's okay. Uh, they deserved it. They've been the most consistent team all year.
Yeah.
And it's good that like now they're getting the opportunity to lift a regular season trophy.
Dude,
Now
I
we
think
have
that actually kind of blew my mind. The second I heard that was like, oh, they finally have a regular season trophy. I went, wait, what do you mean? I thought
did
there
you?
like I thought there was
Oh,
one
you thought
before
the
that.
championship was a championship.
No,
You
no,
thought like
I thought there was a league win. Like I sitting here this whole time, I'm like, how the like this is something that also hits more closer to home with me, like within like BCSPL where I coach in. Like, there's nothing for winning the fucking league here. Like, how
yeah,
is that not an automatic trophy? Like, aren't for a
yeah.
fucking civilization and a society that wants to give as many people trophies as possible, how is that not for like a league title? And
Yeah,
at the
being
highest
consistent over
point,
34 games is not easy. You deserve
it's
to be rewarded.
that's fucking difficult, man. That
Yeah,
is so hard. Like,
yeah. No, 100%. I was saying that too, but it's kind of tough because I think because at that point, when they first started it, there were so many the CPL. There's so many moving parts with it, so they're just like, yeah, let's just do one trophy end of the year, like playoff formatting.
well, they had that
The
weird like
first, yeah,
spring, summer, and
yeah,
then they had
20,
the
yeah,
championships. Like,
2019 was kind of tough because Calvary was like, yo, we won both this and that, but we ended up beating them, and it was it was tough. They had a trouble accepting that, and then 2020 when we did the tournament. I think they also finished in first in the in the group table. I think because we played Pacific in the semifinals. No, we played Calvary in the semifinals. I lied because we played Halifax in the final.
yeah,
Pacific finished in first.
did they?
Wait, who finished? I know we finished second and third
How?
because
Yeah,
we
you know what they must have because I think Halifax came in fourth,
Halifax came in fourth.
and
We
they
came in
must have.
third. We came in third. We came in third. Yeah, and we played Calvary. It was 2 versus 3 in the semifinals, and then we played Halifax in the end.
Halifax, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
like again, like you kind of, I guess that's probably why. I'm now thinking back. I'm like, okay, the first year you had 2 seasons,
mhm.
weirdly. The second season was 2020, COVID. Next
the
year,
20,
another COVID ridden
2021,
year,
another COVID. You're
another
like
COVID ridden
squishing
year.
games.
Like, yeah, so that's easily why. That's
Like
now
they
slipped
could,
my
I mean,
mind.
they could have done it last year, but like in hindsight, it was kind of like you're coming back from a COVID year, so you're kind of just like, yo,
Mhm.
let's not move anything around. They got a new commissioner. They're like, yo, let's not move anything around.
They also just like, I guess like looking back, they just abolished the 2 seasons that next year too, and just went away with it, and no one really
Yeah,
batted an eye because it had been so
it was
long,
spring and fall.
spring and fall or whatever. They just did
Yeah,
one season, and
there's one
um,
season. I
but
mean,
there's
it's
obviously all the turmoil with FC Edmonton and all this other shit, right? Like there's just other
exactly.
stuff.
There's so
There's
many
also
moving parts that
expansion
like,
teams and like, oh yeah, there's
yeah,
it's there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on. But again, the other thing to talk about is obviously we spoke preseason about the new playoff format.
It's actually not too bad, to be fair.
It's
So how?
definitely added, I think it's added better storylines further
Yeah,
down.
because
Obviously, it's still weird to sit there and
yeah.
be like,
So
majority of the
the
league gets, but again, you look at the NBA now, majority of the NBA gets
yeah,
in, majority of MLS gets in. Like,
they're doing in tournament in season tournaments in the NBA. The MLS now they're doing like a eighth versus nine to fight for. It's like the play-in tournament basically in
yeah,
the NBA. So like I think because there's so much money to be made in North America, the more games you have, the more TV revenue you can make, and like
yeah.
obviously it helps the players too because then it bumps up the
Oh,
salaries as well.
the
So
NFL's done it too.
yeah.
Literally, the only two that aren't is the NHL and the MLB.
See, that's what I mean. So it's kind of like I don't know why the NFL done it. Like, yo, playing that many games or crushing each other's heads is wild. So
What do you mean? It's never been
I can
safer unless
understand.
you're a running back.
Yeah, I can understand if NHL and NFL didn't do it because like the amount of games and you constantly getting hit, that shit would do to your body. But I understand that now with everything coming to America, like the Messi mayhem that is brought to America, like I understand. But the playoff format for the CPL goes first versus second will play each other. So let's say it's Calvary and Forge will play each other. Winner goes straight to the final. 3 and 4.
No, it's
Wait, no,
5 versus 4.
it's 5 versus 4, and then three has to. I think three has to wait to see. So like it'll be 5 and 4 play, and then the winner of 5 and 4 will have to play three, and the winner of 3 and whatever would have to play two. So yep. So if you're in second place, you have two chances to make it to the final.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other three teams have to play like 2-3 games to get to the final.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much if you come in fourth or fifth, you got to run the table.
Yeah.
Like you have to win
Essentially.
every single game.
Yeah.
First and second will play each other, and the winner goes immediately to to the final.
Yeah.
Second then goes into a semifinal essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which again, I still look at this playoff format and I'm like, I think from a storyline perspective, it has hit everything they could have hoped for the regular season side of it.
Bro, I feel like the CPL every year has just been storylines, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's
No,
been dramatic every year. Every
yeah.
single year has been dramatic.
I think like you look at obviously even during COVID, and you're like, oh my God, can you imagine if it's just like the same teams and Halifax come in and like,
Yeah, in the
oh my
final.
God, they get all the way to the final. It was incredible, right?
Yeah.
Even last year with Valor pushing and pushing and pushing and then falling
And
off at the end, but
Atletico
Atletico
Ottawa.
winning and doing it and then falling off at the end. And then this year, Atletico are in the driver's seat and they've fallen
Right.
off and now they need help and they have to beat Forge. Like
Yeah.
I think from a storyline perspective, the new playoff format has absolutely smashed out the park.
Yeah.
And then I look at the format, I'm like, I still think that
With your eyes,
like,
it doesn't look.
but if you come in first and second, you win. You have to wait 2 weeks to play your next game. That's the
That
part
is
that I don't like.
the only
That is such a liability.
the only thing is like the 2 week. It's almost like how people in MLS have a bye. It's a week, but like regardless, let's say it's Forge and Calgary that are 1 and 2. Like let's say Forge beats Calgary, and then Forge automatically gets to host the final. Calgary just has to wait another week to see who they play out of the 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, they have to wait a week, play, and then wait another week.
Yeah.
Like I still look at it, I'm like 2 weeks, like to win a cup match and then to have to wait 2 weeks. To wait a week, I get. Like that one I get. To wait 2 weeks though, that it seems outrageous to me to sit there and be like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Because
But I
like any
mean
momentum, any buildup that you have, like there's nothing kind of like that whole next week, you're like, okay, and all the adrenaline,
I
it
hear
feels like
you,
there's
but
gonna be a letdown.
if you're also the best team in the league all year, like you winning 2 weeks should not be a reason why like you lose, bro.
No, I'm not saying it's a reason
Yeah.
why you lose, but if you're used to going at a click, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like because I think if you look at the CPL this year, there's been more midweek games, and so there's been kind of a consistent ramp up, and there's been a consistent schedule for games, and there's been no real interruptions. And it's like tick, 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 tick. And so if you're like within the machine to go tick, 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 and then stop, like it's almost like the flow of how you do things, which is what
Mhm.
like it's not like it's not like this league is used to international breaks where you do have 2 weeks off,
Yeah.
right? And now like
Yeah.
it's 2 weeks in between your genuine matches. Like, are they gonna
Mhm.
play if I'm them, I'm like, I think we need to schedule a friendly.
No, I'll
It's
put inner
crazy.
squad. I don't trust other people.
Well, I mean, there would be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying okay, it's Forge would play Sigma and Cavalry would
You
play
would play Foothills.
Foothills.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like but you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
play against someone else where they're going to give you something where you can keep working on things and keep doing
yeah.
that stuff. Because
Hmm.
even like again, like it's been the whole year,
Hmm.
it's been a whole season. Is an
Hmm.
inner squad at that point really going to help?
I don't know.
Like
Training be competitive as fuck. That's
it
what I
definitely
mean.
is. It
Like
definitely
it doesn't
is.
have
But
to be. It doesn't have to be a 90-minute inner squad because at the same time you do want to preserve bodies, but like you can do a half, bro, and like make sure people hit a certain number of distance in that 45. Like maybe the 45 has to be like and you set like parameters. So you get the 90-minute physical part, but like you're only playing 45 minutes.
yeah, I still think like to have 14 days off for the first time in the
It's
whole
crazy.
season at the end,
Mhm.
that is the thing that I find strange. You
It's
know what I
wild. I
mean?
don't
Like
even, what was the
that
playoff format?
that's really that like that's the biggest thing for me. But then to sit there and say, okay, you're gonna lose a cup game, but you stay in, also seems
Bro,
weird.
but imagine 2021, like us, like this playoff format would have helped Forge so much when we were out here. Yeah, bro, we hopped off a plane, did a regen session,
Yeah,
and
but
then
that's
had to
also
play.
that's during COVID, man. Like that's the
No, but
thing.
you
Like,
know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, like now you're looking at it, but in hindsight, like this shit could have helped. Like it
oh,
could have
big
helped a
time,
lot.
big
Yeah, it could
time.
have
But
helped.
again, like if you look at like the timing of it though,
Yeah.
the timing wouldn't have mattered for you guys at this point because you guys
Oh,
were doing that stuff later, right? Like
what,
think about how late that season went compared to now. Like we're in
yeah.
September doing this. Like you
Yeah,
guys were playing
our last game was December 5th or some shit like that.
that's what I'm saying. Like you guys like
Yeah.
this wouldn't even have mattered really. It's just like it was just like it was this weird set of variables that everyone had to juggle. And I'll
Mm.
give the league as much credit as possible for juggling all of that. But
Yeah.
also, like,
You just want it to be
unfortunately,
normal.
unless you
Would
guys
you,
are gonna play in like Vancouver in your
would you
final,
rather would you rather it be how many teams are in the CPL? 8?
there's only 8. That's the problem, right? Like again,
No,
you want the
would you rather it be like 1 versus 8 or would you rather it be like 1 gets a bye then 2 versus 5 and 3 versus 4? No, that wouldn't even make sense.
no.
That's what it is.
I think you can do. I think you can do 2 versus. I think 4 versus
Or
5. Then they
4
play
versus 5, 3
winner of that
versus
plays
6.
one. Winner of that
Uh,
plays one. If you're gonna do 5 teams, like again, like I look at it, like I get
or
that this
6 teams.
creates
You could do 6 teams.
1 and 2 get buys, and then there's automatic
Yeah.
3 versus 6. Like, yeah, you could have done that. Again, though, that still gets difficult. I
You
don't think
still
they
have to
wanted to go to
wait.
6 teams, but I don't think they wanted to go to 6 teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, like, you wait one, like, okay, you play again. This one, the first ones, you wait 3 days. So you have the play in, and then you play 3 days later. So
Mhm.
the teams that get a buy aren't waiting 2 weeks; they're
Yeah.
waiting maybe a week.
Yeah.
Right? So okay, you have a 1 week and now you're into it and now you can do a week break in
Mhm.
between that, right? But I'm
No.
still like I think like this one again, I think they wanted to create just from looking at it objectively, this creates more storylines, number one,
Yeah.
because oh, who lost that semifinal essentially? Well, they get their next chance. Like it seems inherently weird that you lose a semifinal to end up in the other side of the semifinal. You know what I mean? Like
Bro.
literally just looking at it, like if you look
Man,
at it
shout out Calvary,
objectively,
bro. Shout out Calvary. Tommy, well done, man. Shout out to them, bro. They
oh
were
my
hooping this
God.
year,
I really fucking like honestly, part of me really hopes they don't lose that fucking
bro.
semifinal
If
to
they
end
if
up
they
on the
if
other side.
bro, if Forge just find a way to win again, I probably will genuinely be upset. I actually would probably be upset. I'm gonna be like, yo, all right, yo, because now it's like you gotta look at Bobby and be like, yo, Bob, like you gotta move on, bro. Like there was a lot of talk about. I mean, some people are coming to me asking me if he was going to be the new national team coach. But I mean, I seen the comments from Mauro Borriello saying that he's been prepared to take this job. He's like I'm ready. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, like that's the thing. I don't I it's one of those things, man. I don't know. I don't know what
There's
the
gonna be a lot
best
of vacancies in MLS jobs too. So like
are.
you never know. Hopefully Bobby stays, Bobby stays. But if Forge win again, I'm gonna be looking at the man like would
But
we
winning gets them back in the Champions League though, doesn't it?
it does.
So again, like there's that extra little
Incentive.
carrot to now stick around, right? Like
The Champions Cup.
Champions Cup. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I gotta try and remember how all of these connections and like the Leagues
Shout out to
Cup now
Calvary
coming in
for
and how
finding
the
Calvary going into the Champions Cup, the Champions League. Oh, it's not because it's not. I don't think it's Scotia Bank anymore. I think it's just something else. I forget what it is, but yeah. Shout out to Calvary. The CPL is an inherently like more defensive league, anyways. So I don't really see any games really being high scoring. Nate Ingham came out and said for Atletico when they got scored on at the end, he said we need to grow up. It's the sixth time in this year that they've been scored on in the 90th, like late in games, last 5 minutes of games. And yeah, I mean, it's probably a mentality thing too. Like you can't take your foot off the gas, especially
it's
when
probably
you're
part of
fighting
that.
for.
And then I wonder if there's a correlation because again, it'd be interesting to actually see what the goals look like and where the mistakes broke down. Like, are they the same mistakes over and over and over again?
That's a
Or
good
are they
question.
these different things? Are they now different variables that are just being thrown in where again, like it's
Mhm.
one's a stupid square pass that gets cut out and they get run
Yeah.
down the field. Or is it just like, oh, it's a similar type giveaway where
Mhm.
you don't get the ball past the first man and they're heading it out and now they're fucking running at you. Like, what exactly are the mistakes? Because if it could also just be like, this was a wonder goal. This one was an unbelievable
No,
defensive
they weren't
play that
even.
made a block that now ends up in a corner that they get scored on. Like, that's just the one thing that I don't know,
Yeah.
which would be interesting
I
to kind
seen
of
the
see
goal. I
like the
seen the goal that I
compilation.
seen the goal that they conceded from York in the 88th minute, and it was an outside foot pass from Mo to Jeremy, who like laid off one touch, and the ball was bouncing. And I think DeSantos is his name, number 11. He like controlled it, and he did it like a lucky move, and it kind of like went through one of the Atletico Ottawa's legs, and then like the last, and it toe poked it through Nate Ingham's leg. So it's kind of like, damn, like
You're also playing against a desperate team that had to win. Like
yeah,
there's a difference between being like, oh, we just can't lose, and a team that's like, we have
mhm,
to win. Like there's
yeah.
also a humongous difference with that. And now they have to go beat Forge. They have to. They don't have a choice.
Mhm.
And they need help. So
If they
like
if they don't make the playoffs, does Ollie Bassett still make the final ballot for MVP? He has the most goals, I think, or tied in first.
I think he
But if
has
you
to
don't
make
make
the
the
final ballot, but winning it, I don't. That's the other thing. I think like that's another thing that the league's been okay with is that it's not although you do have forwards that have been like the mainstay in the final and winning,
mm,
there have been players who've popped up every single year.
100%.
And
I got a bone to pick with the CPL, yo.
again,
I swear. Yeah, nah, yo, that 2021 year, bro, I was supposed to be on the finalists for MVP, but they said they couldn't have two Forge players. I was like, bro, if someone's better, they're better, yo. Like, what are we talking about? It got me
oh
so
Jesus Christ.
it got me so mad. I was like, bro, Costa came to me, and this is the insider. Costa came to me. He's like, yo, I swear, even you can ask Christian Jack because I had a whole interview with him, and I was thinking like, yo, I was cooking. I played every minute, every game. He's like, yo, like good. You might get some like good news this and that. I'm like, oh, what? It's like, yo, apparently like you might be on. I was like, oh shit, for real? Like just to be shortlisted is blessed. Who want? I don't know if Bex wanted or no, no, some was it?
2021.
Bustos one, I think.
I'll look it up.
Because Bex won 2020,
No,
but
it was João Morelli.
Joao Morelli, because he broke the goal scoring record.
I mean, Morelli was legit that year.
He was legit. Did they make the playoffs? No.
To sit there and like the part that I don't understand, sit there and say we just can't have
You can't
two
do it was
players.
crazy. It was wild.
That's
That shit was wild. I was like,
yeah.
wow. I'm like, I'm so happy I'm leaving this place. I swear. That's what I was like, yo, I'm so happy I'm leaving this place. Now, but
Yeah.
shout out to the CPL. I mean, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it'll I think like for whoever's gonna win like um whoever's gonna win the player of the year this year, I think it's gonna be more interesting for sure because you've got Bassett has 11 goals. Meyer
yeah,
Bevin's got 10 for Calgary though. Taryn
yeah.
Campbell
And
and Rubens are both on 10.
that's what I mean. So I feel like
Like
whoever
Mass
wins,
Farron for Halifax is on 7. And then you've also got Calgary, who's got 6 assists for Halifax. Ivan Salouf's got 8 assists for Pacific. Like
and
Bex
how
has
many
got
goals?
7 for Forge.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I mean.
there's
I think it's gonna come down to whoever wins. If Oliver don't get into the playoffs, I don't think he gets it.
I would find it very
Yeah,
I doubt that they do that simply
because
for
if
the
he
fact
finishes with the
that
most, if he finishes with the most goals, he'll get the most goals. But like
also I
he'll,
think they'd have to get in fifth, and I think they'd have to go win for them to honestly, like thinking about it, for them to name him a back-to-back MVP, they
they'll
probably
have
have
to
to
go
win
win
it.
it. No, I think if they get to the finals, they'll be should be fine.
But what if
Calgary.
Calgary and Meyer
Okay, yeah,
Bevan
yeah,
score? Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
all, or if it's Forge and Taryn and Woobens end up scoring more goals. Like
yeah.
that's the only thing that I kind of sit there and I look at. I'm like, I think they would genuinely have to win it for them to name him.
Back to back.
Just because again, like you're looking at, like for me, the best player in the CPL over this whole time has been Kyle Becker. He's the
Yeah,
best player. He's won it once.
yeah. I mean, that's what the goalkeepers too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't. I be
Hey,
calling these
talk
guys out though.
talking
Like,
about, by the way, talking about most valuable player. You're telling me Callie Irving shouldn't be in that conversation for Vancouver are technically a point out. If they win their
yeah,
last game, they would have missed it by a point. Like,
yeah. And everybody thought they was gonna finish in last. That's crazy.
so like that's the thing. Like, how is
Yeah.
he not potentially not in the conversation for not just goalkeeper there, but MVP? Like, so that's like I think like when you're looking at still such a young league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to the CPL, man. It's still entertaining to some sort. Every team has the way teams have changed since I was there, and like the playing styles and like the type of personnel that they're bringing in is kind of like wow, like I feel like it's going in a different direction, but it's an interesting direction. So you kind of just sit there and wait to see how what's really gonna happen.
Yeah, I think like that's probably one of the better things about it is like it's
Mm-hmm.
not exactly as predictable as people think. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously looking at Project 8 coming in on the women's side, you're hoping that they can create the headlines that CPL has so far. I think that would be the perfect first step is just seeing like, okay, year 1, there's headlines.
Yeah,
Year 2, there's more headlines and different headlines. Like you can't just keep getting the same ones over and over again because
yeah,
it gets repetitive, which again, that's CPL has absolutely smashed that bit out of the park so far.
wild, wild. From the first year, I knew the show was gonna be wild. Like when we had got into a fist fight with Calvary, it's wild. I was like, yo,
How do we follow this up? How
yeah,
do we
yeah.
follow this
Like,
up
what
next
do you
year?
what? What's next? Oh
Those
shit,
script
COVID.
writers, you couldn't wait to see what the script was going to be for the next year,
Yeah,
eh?
it was like, yeah, and it was like, oh wait, now we got a COVID. We're playing in Prince Edward Island. Wow. All right. Oh shit, Forge went on a CONCACAF run. Oh wow, Forge beat Olympia. Oh shit, Calvary beat Vancouver. Oh shit, they beat Vancouver again. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of dope. It's definitely dope. Now back to European soccer. You're Manchester United, bro. What's going on?
It's just, I mean, I
Like,
think like I look at it
injuries,
from the
injuries.
injury is one thing for sure,
Yeah.
but just when the club has so much turmoil at the top and it's clearly not being run properly, like you can't expect a subsidiary part of a company to be efficient when the top isn't efficient. Like it's still one thing. Like I know people are sick and tired of hearing Gary Neville spout off about that because how should that impact the players on the pitch? It fucking does, man. Like give me a break. If everyone above you is in a shit mood and it's not being run properly and everything you have around you is breaking down, like it's inevitably going to impact that part. The other thing though is that they need to get a lot of the fucking people out of that dressing room. There are people still there who need to go because they're the same guys who have been with other managers now this whole time, and everyone else is getting sacked. Everyone else has gotten sacked because of it. So there are a group of players in that dressing that need to go. But I also look at
any off the top of your head?
They need to go. Well, I mean, Phil Jones is on his way out, which is great. Finally, one that I think needs to go, and not because I think he's been a bad servant, or just I think for his own sake needs to go, is Harry Maguire. And I can also understand why he doesn't want to. He's not going to get the same paycheck somewhere else. I get that. I also think the hate that he's getting is absolutely ridiculous. Like
100%.
At the same time, he's a Premier League footballer, man. Not only is he a Premier League footballer, he was the best defender at the Euros.
Yeah.
2020 Euros. He was the best defender.
But for England, he hoops, bro. That's what he like with England.
Yeah, but like it's not that hard to do that though, man. It's not hard. But here's the thing though, like you look at it, all of a sudden on that side, yeah, just give the ball, take the ball, give it to either John Stones right beside you or give it to Luke Shaw beside you. Don't do anything else because you've got Declan Rice in front of you. He had Calvin Phillips. He had Harry. Like you are small in that group, and your job is to jump up and head the ball away. That's it. Don't do anything else other than that, right? Like,
but I can refute that because you're saying it's easier to obviously it's easier to play with that collection of players. But like, let's say Calvin Phillips, for example, when he's at Man City, how come it doesn't translate?
Because he doesn't play because he's got Rodri in front of him. Like, but the difference I'm saying he's protected defensively. You saw it. Like, I don't know if you saw their game against Scotland. The own goal that he scored is his own fault for dropping 40 fucking yards directly back and not applying any pressure. Yes, he's unlucky that he goes to try and block the cross and it skips off his studs and past. I don't even, Nick Pope, I think, was in goal. Yes, that bit's unlucky, but the defending in before that's not top quality defending. It's just not. He just drops off because he's scared of getting beat for pace. When you have someone like Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, those two in front of you, you're not getting beat for anything.
Were they not playing against Scotland?
Not at that point, no.
Okay.
No. And it's also like all of a sudden now you're on the ball, but people are more worried about like I kind of let you have the ball now because if I press, you've got Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane and Declan Rice and Phil Foden shooting off. At Man United, he doesn't have that right now. They're like, give it to someone else. Go for it. I'm gonna like it is wildly different. It is wildly different. Though club managers have way more time to prepare for stuff like that as well than international managers do, because again, international football is so sporadic and reactionary. You can plan as best you want, but good luck. Like even now, looking at England, like I don't know how an opponent prepares for Jude Bellingham. The guy's a freak.
Yeah, he's cooking.
The guy's an absolute freak.
Cooking. Confidence, bro. Confidence can do so much, bro. It's wild. And I know, like I said this before, it's not a basketball podcast, but like Draymond Green was saying, like the reason why he stopped shooting, obviously if you have the best shooters on your team, you're not gonna shoot. But he was like, yo, confidence. The confidence kicked my ass. It was like to the point where like I used to question myself, even if I was wide open, it was like, yo, me shooting a wide open shot is not better than Steph Curry shooting a contested shot. That's what he was saying. He was like, yo, he's like, I'm a fucking NBA player, and I was a pretty darn good one. Like, how can I not be able to make an open shot that I've done 1 year for 40% from three? But I'd rather give it to Steph who's getting double team. I mean, Steph is the best shooter ever, so it's like I understand that, but it's like, you know what I mean? Confidence changes the whole ball game, bro. And then you go into a locker room where like you're not the main man. You became the main man because of like his performances, but like you came in to a locker room that was already culturally like set. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't have to do it. Like they plugged him in neatly. They're like, yo, just do this. Like, and then you have guys like Tony Cruz, Luka Modric that you can look up to, like the youngins that are like on your level, world players, young players of the world. He's cooking for sure.
Yeah, but it also came out that like again, apparently Solskjaer didn't want to give Maguire the captaincy. He offered it to multiple United players, turned it down.
Why is Bruno Fernandes captain?
Like I said,
crazy.
I don't think there's anyone else right now, man. Like, and again, I think like again, you look at hard to argue with the stats Bruno's put up because they've been disgusting. They're actually ridiculous. But I think like that's the biggest thing.
For some reason, I don't know. I just don't like Bruno Fernandes, bro. I don't know.
I get it. I get it. Like. He's really whiny. He whines a lot.
It's not even the personality. Like, I would never say he's a bad player, but he's not my type of player. You know what I mean? He's a really good player. Don't get me wrong, but like something about how he plays, aesthetically like throws me off.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
I
what it
I
is.
kind of get it.
Actually, you know what I mean? Like he's efficient in everything. Like he's a good passer, shooter, everything. Like don't get me wrong, a lot of soccer players whine. Like we're not gonna act like you know what I mean. That
Yeah,
doesn't. It's not that. Just something about him. I'm like, yo, I wouldn't
yeah.
put him on my team over Bernardo Silva. I don't know what it is.
No, but I don't think there are many people that would, if I'm being honest. Like
That's
it's
what I
just
mean. But like
he's a
his
different
numbers
type.
compared to Bernardo Silva's numbers, you'd be like, yo, like what the hell? Like you'd be
Yeah,
crazy not to play him. But like there's just something about him. As good as he is, like I'm like, yo, I just wouldn't put you in my 11. I don't know why.
yeah.
No
But
disrespect.
I also just look at like again, I think the other side of it is Ten Hag hasn't got the guys he's wanted. Like, I'm sorry, Hoyland looks the real deal. And
Yeah.
I actually said I'm like, holy shit, they've got a number
What's
nine.
happening with Anthony?
He's now back in the dressing room. He's now fully able to train and play. So he's available
Okay.
for selection again. But again, you're looking at like, okay, that was one of his players. Yeah, he's gotta get used to playing the Prem. Like Brazilians do typically take a little bit longer to get used to it. And some of them have
Mhm.
not been very good in the Premier League. It's a different
Yes.
type of ball game, man. It just is.
Yes.
But I look at it, I'm like, kid, he's very clearly not been given the keys yet. And that
Mhm.
comes down from ownership.
Mhm.
Until the club is sold, they're gonna be in turmoil. They just are. They just are, man. Like that's reality. It's like any other company. Like until
Okay.
you can't fix it from the bottom up. If there's a issue at the top, that issue has to be dealt with before the bottom gets fixed.
What's
Um,
the record? 3-4?
something like that. Yeah, it's not good, man. It's not fucking good. And the
Um,
Prem this year, the Premier League this year, by the way, is fucking wild.
Absolutely crazy.
Newcastle winning
Bright,
8-0. Brighton got
Brighton,
slapped
yeah, but
6-1 by Villa.
Brighton the other week was cooking. You're like, yo, god damn, Toma.
That's what I
Yeah,
mean. Like
bro.
that's like some people ask.
Tottenham in fucking top three, top two. Yeah,
They look yeah, but
We gonna
they
talk
should have
about.
fucking lost. They should have fucking lost against Liverpool. Like Liverpool got cheated. Like they got cheated.
Okay, do you think that's a red
Down.
card? Do you think that's a red card by Curtis Jones?
I haven't seen it at full speed yet, but at the same time, like I look at the red card that Gusto got for Chelsea, and I'm like, that's not a sending off. It's not. He wins the ball.
The one that Gusto got for Chelsea?
Yeah, he got sent off
Oh,
for
he cleated
Chelsea.
him in his. Bro, I don't know,
It's
bro.
it there
I feel like if you're on his team, you'd say it's not a red card. But
if
if you're on the other team,
if his foot's raised and he goes over the ball, I completely agree. You cannot fucking sit here and tell me that tackle he has to go toe first because he's gonna break his fucking foot. He's gonna break his leg doing that. Like like there's a part of it like hey they you have to show your studs tackling sometimes. You have to. You're not taking that out of the game. You can't.
I don't know.
If his foot's on the
I
ground and he
yeah.
gets the ball and the other player's running the other way, I'm sorry, who's hitting who? Like
I don't know.
they're
I think
running
that
and their momentum hits in there too. Like I fucking hate when they slow that down and they're like, oh,
it
look how
makes it
far
look
the ball
worse.
away is.
Yes. Okay. Watching tackles in slow motion, everything looks good.
It's bullshit. You have to
Yeah.
watch it at full speed. Like that should be taken out of like, it's one thing to be like, wait, did he actually get the ball or did he go over the ball? And then to slow it down and be like, oh my God, he only got like he nicked it with one stud and he caught the guy with five. Different. You're out of control at that point.
Yeah. I think the Curtis Jones one is a red card, bro. I don't even lie. That shit.
I need to watch it to be honest with you because again I've heard both of them,
Yeah.
but the other thing I've heard is like it's you can't slow it down.
You
You
can't.
don't
You
slow it
can't.
down.
Yeah, that was a. But Tottenham, though, in general, they have been cooking, bro.
They have.
They have been cooking. I'm not gonna lie, bro. They have. James Madison, I knew him. Didn't I say this in the beginning of the year? Him going to Tottenham was gonna be crazy. I'm like, he has to leave Leicester. I was like, this guy with Tottenham, I'm like, he's a hooper.
Oh yeah.
Absolute hooper, bro.
Oh, James Madison's quality. Like the fact that
Quality.
that guy has not been in the England. It's again. It's like it blows my mind
It's a
sometimes when you
testament
see
to
like him, Phil Fote, and these guys. I'm like, how are they not getting selected? I'm sorry, ahead of Raheem Sterling.
not Reem Sterling.
Wild. It's
Reem Sterling
wild.
just brings it. Yeah, it is wild. But because he's like probably the most capped guy now for England out of all of them,
Harry Kane's got to be up there. Like,
Harry
oh,
Kane has the most
Raheem,
goals. But
Raheem might
Raheem
be.
Sterling's been in the England setup a lot longer.
Yeah, Raheem might be, to be fair.
Yeah,
But I look at that team and again, I the Prem's just been on a different level this year.
it's been on a different level. And Holland is
But
so Holland's still going. Newcastle got a little taste of the medicine in the Champions League. It's like welcome. They got a welcome in the Champions
Yeah,
League.
they still got a note. They still got a point at the San Siro.
Yeah.
Like I take that
Arsenal,
run.
Arsenal, 3-0 PS against PSV. Well, welcome back to the Prem.
Yep. They're again,
I
I
think
don't think that they're not they don't look like they did last year, but you can kind of see like they
the
seem
thing
like they're
is, what's gonna
gonna
what's
have
gonna
some
hurt
legs.
them. What's gonna hurt them is this: they have no depth, bro.
No.
Compared to
No.
like City, like the people that they get to bring off the bench, it's not like you know what I mean. That's why
Yeah.
it tailed off at the end of the year because it was like, damn, bro, like I can't play Bukayo and Martinelli every damn game, Champions League, Cup, Premier League, yo.
No, I know. Like, and that's the thing. Like, it's that's always going to be their downfall right now. And again, until that group proves it and gets over the hump, I'm still not buying. I can't buy into it. I can't. You know,
Can't buy
like
into it,
I
Arsenal.
can't buy into that they're going to win. That they're going to win
The
anything of
Prem.
meaning. Yeah, I can't buy until they do it. I can't buy into it. I personally can't. Like, don't
I
get me wrong.
mean,
I think it's going to be difficult because again, I don't remember the last team if anyone's won it 4 times in a row. Like for City to do that is going to be
crazy.
a ridiculous feat.
City is also so they just lost last weekend and they're suffering with a lot of injuries as well.
Yep. And again, other than Arsenal, I don't think I buy into Tottenham doing it the whole year because again, I think they
No,
struggle with depth.
it's
So
depth, bro.
Arsenal honestly are the next ones in line, but I can't sit here and say I think it's going to happen or I believe it'll
Mhm.
happen until they fucking do it because it's the same group. I said it all last year. I said they fucking bottled it the year before trying to get in the Champions League,
Mhm.
and then they bottled it last year. So until that group again, until they get unless they get even more reinforcements,
Yeah,
until
they
they
definitely,
actually get over the line, I can't buy into it.
yeah, they're definitely going. They're definitely going to need reinforcements for sure. That one is for sure. Like no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Doesn't
But
help that they lost Jury and Timber immediately too to an
yeah,
ACL and stuff like that. That obviously doesn't help. Um, and again, here's the other side of it. What's the goalkeeping situation going to do to that locker room?
with Ramsdale and the
And Raya, like, what's that going to be like?
damn, I watched the All or Nothing for Arsenal, and Ramsdale is a specimen. Like he's very passionate, so I'm sure he's gonna be a good locker room guy. But like I don't know what happens. One play, remember, Real Madrid or PSG did it. Like one plays Champions. Oh, Real Madrid. One plays Champions League and one plays the league games.
Yeah, but I don't think you're doing that with like you can't have two number ones and do that. Like you can't.
Bro,
It doesn't work
there
with
was
two
it
number
was
ones.
Keylor Navas and Courtois. They were splitting before Keylor went
No,
to PSG.
it was no. Courtois wasn't there. Courtois was at Chelsea.
It was Keylor Navas and someone else that were
Was it
splitting time.
Casillas? I think Casillas was gone. I don't even think it was, man. I think
No, it was at PSG. It was when Keylor Navas' last year at PSG with Donnarumma. That's what it was. Donnarumma
yeah,
was
and
playing
it,
league, and then Keylor Navas was playing Champions League.
yeah, I mean it didn't really work. Like
Yeah,
again,
but at the same time, English teams play a lot more games than the rest of these guys. So like, you can
yeah, but
play.
I think there's a humongous difference.
I mean, of
I look
course.
at it like I like even looking at like when United did that, it was like De Gea plays the whole league, and then their number two plays when they were in the Europa League and FA Cup, and oh, we're in a final. De Gea's playing. Like that's what it turned into. Like you weren't
Yeah.
even given that chance, right? Like
Well,
I think
maybe it's just competition. Maybe he just plays the better goalkeeper that week, yo. And it is what it is.
maybe I just
Because you do that. The thing is, you do that for every other position. So like, why not? Why is all of a sudden so weird to do that with goalkeeping? Play whoever trains better.
I don't disagree. I just think like
Yeah,
it's like so for instance, like
I understand.
I
Like the
don't know. I
back
think
line,
goalkeeping's different though, man. Goalkeeping's different. Like, and
you
again,
have
I
to
think
get a
it's just
rhythm.
like there's rhythm that's involved, there's
Yeah,
confidence that's involved,
yeah.
and it's like it's the one position that again I think it's like similar to probably a striker. Really, Julian Alvarez had a better week in training than Holland. You're not going to play Holland.
Yeah, you're gonna play both of them
No,
because
but
you
that's what I mean.
can't.
Though, but you
There's
no, but
ways
you
around it for goalkeeping. There's no ways around it. So it's kind
that's
of
what I
like,
mean. That's why it's a completely
yeah,
different variable. That's why I'm sitting here going like I don't know how that's going to work, and I can like again I think like you could see like some issues at least within the group and the dressing room. Like I could see that arising.
Mhm.
Maybe not this year. It might be in years down the road, or it's like Ramsdale goes, "Fuck this, I'm out of here in January," and he gets up and leaves. Then what happens if Raya gets hurt? You know, like that's the thing. I think that's a weird. I think
I
that's
don't
just a
know.
weird one.
I believe in competition, but obviously goalkeeping and back in the back line too. That's why you don't really see substitutions in the back line because you need consistency, especially when
Mhm.
defending, because you defend as a unit, not an individual. It's not like an individual skill. But nah, man, like we put competition between every other position on the field. Like, yo, and it's a small side, and whoever gets scored on the most, yo, you might have to hold. You know what I mean? Whoever's distribution and during training the week. That's how it goes. Like if you was cooking in training one week, it's like, damn, I better be playing. You got to reward that.
For sure, but I don't think Odegaard is getting dropped. I don't think Saka's getting dropped. If Saka has a bad week of
But I
training,
also
he ain't
don't
getting
think
dropped.
I also don't think those guys don't kill it in training. You know what I mean? Like
No,
because
no,
so like you
I
could
don't disagree. But
you
like,
know
okay, what if Ramsdale and Raya both have good weeks in training?
then it's whoever was in that the last game.
Yeah, but what if they had a poor game? Like that's like I just sit there and I'm like, I don't think you can base everything off training, and I don't think you do that necessarily for any other position realistically. If there's a position that's close, like obviously you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Or if someone has a really poor week and like, oh my God, they're poor in the game, they've been poor, they
Mm-hmm.
need a break. It's one thing to
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, this player's tired, he needs a break, and this other player's been good. But like
Mm-hmm.
Declan Rice ain't getting dropped. I don't care what he's training. Like, there's no fucking
Yeah.
chance Arteta drops him.
Yeah.
Odegaard or Saka can can have an off week in training. He's still playing.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's no one. The people behind Saka, Odegaard, and Declan Rice are not even close to their level. You know what I mean? Because like if you take it like Rodri's gonna be like, damn, this guy's almost as good as me. Or you know what I mean? Like who else? Like Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva. Like you start Bernardo, but it's like, damn, like Phil Foden's on my heels. So like you can't even take that time off to like, yo, I'm gonna play regardless. Because you don't know if you're gonna play regardless. Soccer and the men's, they're gonna play regardless because the person behind them is nowhere close to as good as them. So like a bad week of training is not gonna tell Arteta anything. He's gonna be like, yo, his bad week of training, he's still better than you. So it's like, damn, like what do you do? But that's what I'm saying. So like if they're that close in like talent or whatever, you has to like there's something that has to break the ice. It can't just be favoritism at that point. Because then that's gonna make the player be more upset than you saying like, yo, whoever trains better. The morale in the locker room will be worse. Like if you just say because he's Spanish, bro, like come on. That's what's gonna be looking like from the outside.
I think that's one of the interesting things because you're like, I don't exactly know what Ramsdale did to lose the spot, if I'm being honest. Like,
That's what I mean. So it's kind of like, yo, what do you like? You have to base it off something. Like the next right winger coming off the bench for Arsenal is who? Reece Nelson? Come on, fam.
yeah, I mean, clearly Arteta sees something different in Raya than he does in Ramsdale. Like he
Yeah.
clearly does.
Then you just have that conversation. It's definitely a tough conversation, but it is what it is. Um, Chelsea got their first win. First win, not first win. Well, first multi-goal win.
Yeah.
Still a bad team. All the money in the world. Can't do nothing. Anything else on the docket? The U17s lost to Brazil. I could have called that one.
Yeah, that's always but again though, like I look at that and I'm like that what an unbelievable experience for those guys
Yeah.
for those kids. Like again, another game that you would have never seen before.
Never.
So
So CPL players coming into that game. So that was kind of dope. What else we got? I think that shouldn't be everything, no?
that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my team Barcelona. Little young sensation Lamine. Come on, bro. He's been cooking. It's nice Xavi got extended. Let me talk about my team, bro. Our Barcelona got Joao Costa, two Joaos.
Yeah.
Joao Felix, Joao
Also
Cancelo.
their bribery charges.
You know, it is what it is, bro.
Can't
Come on, bro. Bribery charges happen everywhere in the world just because, wow, now it's in Spain, bro. Come on, Mexico does it. Like, yo, Russia probably does it. Like, no one says nothing to them fools because it's Barcelona. Come on, man. Come on, we going.
Yeah,
Jude
we'll see
Bellingham,
how
shout
it
out to him too, though.
see how it plays out with those because they look pretty serious.
Yeah, 100%. But like, they look pretty serious, but then everybody forgot about Man City's charges.
Oh no, don't worry. We haven't forgot
It's
about
still
them.
there. Oh, you remember it. How
I
course
do.
you
I
gonna
fully
remember
remembered.
it?
I fully remember those.
Yeah, but if we got nothing else, then shout out to anybody who is listening, watching. This has been episode 26 of Top Pin Talks, presented to you by FTF Canada. I'm Kwame Awuah. That is Adam Jones, and no, that's it. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Be back soon.